Everyone hates me until they need me. What jobs are the best example of this? Lawyers. Try getting a dentist appointment when you have a raging toothache. Crickets. Dentist. This is a bit niche, but since I work in the field, road maintenance. People get so inexplicably furious when they're mildly inconvenienced due to us fixing stuff, but God forbid there's a pothole, or a tree goes down, or it snows. Then we're all buddy-buddy again. The amount of times I've almost been hit by cars who don't want to stop/slow down, or given the finger and screamed at for holding them up is insane. Hate them until you need them. A tow truck. IT. When everything is working. Why do we even have IT? When something is broken. Why do we even have IT? Cleaning staff and garbage workers. I remember a strike in the Netherlands at its biggest train station because of low wages and lack of recognition. Trash piled up to 30 centimeters high, you had to wade through discarded rotting hamburgers, cans of cola and more. People are freaking pigs and they keep it from being noticed. Housekeeping. People were such assholes to the housekeepers at the hotel I worked at. To them they were a bunch of foreigner scum, personal servants, and thieves. In reality those girls were the hardest workers I've met, and for little pay in return. They had a lot of integrity. They could find a diamond ring and every single time when they could pocket it they are turning it into me so I can call its owner. If you accuse a housekeeper of stealing with no proof otherwise, you're an asshole. Years in the hotel industry and I've only ever seen one person steal. A manager. I work in security, so me. We're the ones who have to tell people no and make their task more difficult/time consuming because of policies and whatnot. Like I'm sorry, man, but I can't just let you in because you tell me what company you're with if you're not on the list. It means someone didn't submit the request properly, so that's not on me. If I start letting people in I will lose my job. Shipping and receiving debts at any company. Truck drivers. People will always complain about them when driving near them, but they're the reason why stores can always be running stocked with items. Bar security. Children's services. Everyone hates us and has an opinion. Of course, if there's a child being locked in a basement then we get called. I hate going to a dentist but I badly need them sometimes. So it must be them, right? Administrative assistants. We do a lot of things that people just think magically happen. Retail workers. We were essential workers during the pandemic, but before and after we're unskilled workers. Also daily, if we can help a customer find something, we're good, but if it's not available, the amount of verbal berating we take is absurd. Food service workers. People seem to hate them while they need them. CPAs, but accountants in general. No one wants to talk to us or hear about our work until it's imperative. And then at least some of them are astonished by standard market rates and feel they're being fleeced. IT support specialists, because no one appreciates them until the Wi-Fi goes down. Teachers. Apparently, currently teachers are grooming children and letting kids use litter boxes, but then I remember once the pandemic hit everyone was calling teachers essential because people were forced to deal with their evil spawn they spewed onto the world. Funeral directors. Building site laborers. Everyone shits on them, the pay is basically whatever the bare minimum is. The tradies shit on them. When they aren't there to do all the heavy lifting so the tradies can have an easier life, the tradies bitch that they have to do actual hard work. LOL. This feels like a Family Feud question. Show me lawyers. That's our number one answer on the board. Pharmacists. People get mad at the pharmacy for wait times. Most of the time, it's not even our fault. Prior authorization, refill requests, etc. are all between your healthcare provider and insurance. All we can do is wait, just like you. But we get caught in the crossfire and get the chewing out. On top of this, most pharmacy computer systems look like they are from the early 2000s, and the computers run like it, too. Most drug databases are online now, not printed in a book, so we need the computer to be able to check your drug, dose appropriateness, and drug interactions. This contributes to wait times as well and is not our fault at the pharmacy level either. Prescribers often chew the pharmacist as well. Some doctors act like they can't make an error. They take the attitude that they wrote it, and it's what the patient needs, so we should just fill it. Two issues with this: 1, the pharmacists don't work for you. 2, it's our license on the line just as much as yours if there is an error. We are not just going to take your word for it. This leads me to the part where people should love the pharmacist. We are checking to make sure the drug is safe, effective, and appropriate for you specifically. You would not believe how many errors we catch. I have seen doses prescribed off by a factor of 10 or 100 because of the metric system, enough to be lethal. I have seen them come in listed as 4 times higher than recommended because of the way the prescriber wrote the directions. I have seen drugs prescribed with direct interactions to the patient's current medication list, sometimes because the doctor didn't cancel the other agent, and sometimes because they weren't even aware those 2 drugs interacted. I have seen drugs prescribed in the exact same class of another drug the patient is allergic to or have the same chemical group they are allergic to. I have seen drugs prescribed with a coloring dye in it that the patient is allergic to and the provider either not know about the patient's allergy, or not be aware the 2 drugs have the same dye. And that is not even counting the internal errors made in the pharmacy that we catch. The catch is, most people don't know the pharmacist is doing all of this. A lot of people think the pharmacist is just putting pills in a bottle and slapping a sticker on. That is, until we save you from an errant drug or dose as the patient, or we save you from losing your license and a lawsuit as a prescriber. In addition, the pharmacist is the drug expert on a healthcare team. When your health conditions and medication lists get extremely complicated, often it is a clinical pharmacist in the hospital that is actually the one sitting down, figuring out what to prescribe and dosing it, then having an MD sign off, and sending it to the actual pharmacy to recheck and fill. We can't diagnose you as well as an MD, but we can come up with a lot more creative solutions to fixing it once we know what is wrong. And often, with a lot less medications and side effects involved. You may not ever see us in the hospital or even know we exist, depending on our specialty and how the hospital operates, but we are there and figuring out the best possible drug treatment for you. Basically every job. No one appreciates anyone anymore. We basically have a country of narcissists posting on social media complaining, and it is always about me, me, me. Definitely tech support and IT professionals. Most people don't think about them until their computer crashes or they can't connect to the internet. Then suddenly, they're the most important person in the office. Given the current political climate, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. OSHA and by extension, JCHO. Let's make it easy. All regulatory and safety standard organizations, EPA, FCC, FTC, NTSB, SEC, FDA, etc. etc. Everyone loves to hate them because they make life just a little bit more detailed and maybe redundant or complicated until you learn how to follow procedure, but they're the ones making sure you don't get hurt or die on the job. It's a hell of a lot harder to sue a major core/business for negligence if regulatory systems aren't implemented and followed. Asterisk edited for clarity of last paragraph. The opposite is insurance. Everyone is fine with it till they need it and realize how much they screw you in every possible way. I'd say professional undertaker service. We hate it because we don't like death, but finally we have to use it when we are no longer alive. Cops. Veterinarians and vet techs are a fun example of people hate us when they don't need us, and they hate us even more when they do need us. Spoiler alert, We aren't getting any of your money. To know where it goes, but not to my pockets. Quality management. Surgeons. I read a lot here about how they're assholes. Public servants. Dentist obv. I'm thinking most people hate professions that they need to maintain something to help you keep the status quo. Mechanics don't upgrade your car, but they charge a good deal of money to make it what it was before it broke. Insurance agents take your money and then they only pay off by putting you back where you were. You're out plenty and you only get what you had before. Lawyers are in a category all their own. Of course there are other despised professions that don't fit that dynamic. Politicians are universally hated. Salespeople. Marketing people. Telemarketers. All those seem to be people who try to get us to buy things. People seem to like doctors but hate dentists. Teachers were often the scapegoat for political causes and yet, everyone needed us back to work during the pandemic. Abortion providers. Welcome to human resources. I was a janitor for 7 years. Ew, you have to clean all the puke and shit, that's so gross. Yeah, well, I'm trying to get through school and make a couple bucks on the side so I can have a beer and a meal every now and then, so thanks. Food service workers. Worked in the industry since 2017. Pandemic we were essential works, but now everyone complains that restaurants are short-staffed. No shit. Raise the minimum wage. People claim it's for high schoolers or people with no potential. Not realizing how hard it is to get a decent job. And oh, who do you think is running the store when those high schoolers are in school? And then people treat us like shit and wonder why nobody wants to work in the industry. It's not just the customers, it's the managers and other employees.